approval of our minutes when committee members have had a chance to review. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Item number 1 is approval of an engineering services agreement with Porter Higginbotham Engineering for the Channing Park Sanitary Sewer Project. The total is $53,535. Welcome. Welcome, Brian.
Okay.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. So Channing Park is out Culver Road.
Yes, sir.
It's about a half a mile before you get to Joe Malchin Parkway. The lots in there are served by septic tanks. Some of those septic tanks have issues. So what this project will do is provide a low pressure force main, a public low pressure force main for residents to tie into that are dealing with those failing septic systems. We'll install the main and the stub out for each lot, and then the homeowners will be responsible for purchasing a private side grinder pump and tying to the system. So this will be the engineering for that,
What is
that
it?
project.
Thank you.
For the private homeowner, what does that cost usually run to do that and then tie on to, that would be a sewer customer to
Right.
us, right?
Yeah.
What does that usually probably cost?
$5,000 is my thought. It's going to
Cost me
vary.
13.
Really?
Wow.
It's
Is
gonna
there,
vary.
is there I mean, if it's $5,000, is there a payment plan that we do as a city, or is it just you've got to do
Right.
that tie
It's
on?
up to them.
So will it be totally up to them to decide to get on or not, or will it be automatically tied on?
It'll be up to them.
Mr. Crowe, just a little bit of clarification.
Yeah.
They don't purchase the grinder pump from us. This is their own responsibility to get a plumber to do it.
And then to hook onto you've got to hook onto our sewer
Yes.
Brian,
at your own personal expense, and that's anywhere in the city. I get that. I'm just kind of wondering, is there any other opportunities for financing, no matter what part of town you live in? That's can be very expensive.
That was
Right.
explored
to meet that.
to see
amount.
if there was options
and
to
I,
publicly
and I've
assist
asked
with
you
that,
about
and turned up. There's nothing.
because Mr. Crowe, we tried to explore ways to decrease the cost for those that live in that area, because we thought that I don't know the length, but I think this has been a very needed project, and I think we're headed in the right direction.
I think,
So,
depending on where you live, I understand part of that, but I do think in
Right.
this time we're living in right now, that could be a major expense for, I don't care
Very
where
much
you
so.
live in town.
Well, in Woodland Hills,
It would be
they
expensive.
have problems and they can't,
They can't afford
people
to
I've
do
talked
it.
to can't afford that.
I'm sorry to ask some dumb questions, but installation of a public low-pressure force main sanitary sewer system. We're just putting a sewer main that they can connect to.
Yeah, it's different than typical sewer throughout the city. The majority of it is gravity sewer.
It's what?
Gravity. We call it
Gravity.
gravity sewer. So it's it's an 8-inch pipe, manholes. It flows by gravity. That's the force that conveys the sewer. The force that conveys this sewer is the actual pumps, the pump and grinder units that the homeowners own. So it's kind of like a train. It just moves it. Pump turns on.
Why
moves
is
the
it not
sewage.
That's
gravity?
what I was about to ask.
Sorry, what?
Why is
Why
it
not
not
gravity?
gravity?
Because
Well,
gravity to get to you have to have a low point to get to. So the nearest low, we looked at gravity. The projection of gravity cost was 1.2 million. So this is 1/5 of that.
And so this is, I don't know, where Channing Park, is that?
Channing Park is right on Culver Road, right across the street from Wesley Estates.
Yeah. Kind of Joe Malisham.
Before you get to Joe
Yeah, I
Malisham
know
Park.
Joe
Not far from
Malisham.
Road. It's half a mile up Culver Road.
So
from
is
that
this,
intersection.
is this what we do if it's somebody's, they're in the city?
They are in the city.
We've done it. We've done this before in other areas. Off the top of my head, we did a little system at ACA. We did one on Firethorn Drive. We did one.
Okay, so if
Deep
you're
in
in the
place.
city and you don't have sewer, it's not unusual for us to put a sewer main in for you to tie to.
Yeah, it seems like we've done this on a case by case basis.
So,
We did
Brian-
Spring Hill Drive.
For those two, will you give kind of an overview of how this project came to be, so that those who are watching can understand and know?
Yeah, I think for several years ago, I'm gonna say 2016.
Yes.
Some folks started coming to the city, approaching them, saying they had septic tank problems, and there was money put aside to do something for this effort, and the gravity was looked at, and it was too much, and this option was looked at, and now we're trying to move forward with it. So it's pronged from these people coming forward talking about their septic tank problems they're having, the issues they're having, and us trying to give them a solution, a public option to tie them to something.
Was there ever any money put aside for this before? For the study or any other money put aside?
Yeah,
Just before we knew that gravity, you had to do what you're doing.
Yeah, there's a budget. I think the budget off the top of my head is $275,000. This cost is roughly 55. So that's that budget was established years ago. I think when they were trying to pursue some engineering costs, I'm not exactly sure the details of how it got established, but it had sat there for a while.
So at this point, if we had gone ahead years ago and moved ahead with this project, could those persons in Channing Park been on gravity sewer? Because I thought it was $375. Could they be? Would that have covered the cost during that time?
I'm not sure.
With some additional funds, that $375 that I thought we had discussed, plus some additional funds, could that have happened so that we could have gotten them on gravity sewer?
Back then?
Yeah.
No. I mean, the cost is, $1.2 million was a quick desktop review. I mean, that's the order of magnitude. We're talking about, millions. Several years ago, it would have been much more than the established budget.
So, Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You have a follow-up?
No, sir.
No, so you're asking us just to fund the study to do this, and then we'll come back with the actual cost of this, right?
I'm asking y'all to fund the engineering. So
Yeah, this is not the
Right.
study, this
Right.
is,
This is
Yeah,
the
we're gonna
engineering.
How to build
We're
it.
gonna draw it up, and we're gonna bid it, and then we're gonna get a contractor. We'll come back
Come
for
back.
y'all with a contract of how much it costs to install this.
More questions, or would entertain a motion to approve?
how many folks this serve?
There's 14 lots that we're looking to serve.
Are they already paying? What are they already paying?
So if you're within, I don't know specifically for these lots, I know in general that if you're within 200 foot of the sewer system, that you are paying a sewer fee, regardless if you're tied on or not.
Oh, really?
I think the
didn't know
thinking
that.
there is, that's long established. I've had many discussions over the years, but I think the thinking is eventually you're probably going to tie on, and so you're paying for these conveyances, the establishment of these conveyances, the treatment, the lift stations, all this stuff.
So perhaps these people have been paying for, let's say, about 30 or 40 years.
No, they've not been paying, right? Because there hadn't been a sewer
They have
line
been.
in 200
If they're within
feet.
200 foot, they.
Are they within
have-
200
I
feet?
haven't specifically checked these lots. Guys will listen to that, but again, if you're within 200 foot of a available sewer, if you have available sewer. Now, as I say that, I'm thinking if you have to pump to get to that sewer, you're likely not considered available. So
This is a project that has that's desperately needed within my district. That gives the people the opportunity to choose whether or not they want to tie in or not. I so moved.
Second.
Move second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 1 is approved. Item number 2, approval of minor public works contract with Hydro Service for lift station 28, pump 2 repair, the total of $73,7059. Brian?
yes, sir. This is for a pump that's broke down that Hydro Service we're getting in to repair. So the lift station 28 is out off Yacht Club Way.
Questions?
This is paid for out of the operations, capital repairs and supplies budget.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 2 is approved. Item number 3, approval of a minor public works contract with Rick's Service Company LLC for lift station 33 generator repair. The total is $8,500, Brian.
Yes, sir. Lift station 33 is down 69 South. It's out Crabtree Road. It's the primary lift station down 69 South. For some context, this is to supply and install a new generator controller system. The current controller is obsolete and it won't operate automatically, so this is payment for that. It's paid for out of the operations, capital repairs, and supplies budget.
Questions?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 3 is approved. Item number 4 is approval of balancing change order to the construction contract with ST Bund Construction Company for citywide resurfacing 2021 project. The deductive total is $566,790.62. Zach, welcome.
Afternoon, Council.
Afternoon.
As Chairperson said, this is a deductive change order for $566,790.62 for the 2021 resurfacing project. So, any
I
questions?
bet there's
Not
no way
to,
we
not to look a gift
extend
horse in
that
the,
money
in the
back.
mouth, but why?
From what I can tell, it looks like there was a couple roads that were moved and done in the 2023 resurfacing project, and then also McDonald Hughes parking lot was not done because they were gonna have a big construction project there anyway, so they didn't wanna resurface it.
Okay,
and
so we
tear it.
took some of the expected items off the list.
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 4 is happily approved. Item number 5 is approval of construction
It'll be back.
contract with K&A Builders for City Hall Annex 1 elevated parking lot resurfacing project. The total is $199,000. Eric, welcome.
Gentlemen, thank you. So this is to award a contract to K&A Builders to resurface the parking deck where the council parks right now. We're going to go in, we're going to remove the coating that's currently there that's coming up, fix the spalling and the cracking in the concrete, then go back and waterproof it.
And that's called the elevated parking lot?
Correct.
Why?
It needs it.
No, why is it is elevated, but is it,
It's,
never mind, I can live without it either way.
It-
I'll just
it's
put,
not part of the Elevate program.
no,
I was
I,
gonna say, it's elevated.
it's elevated, they're paying for it.
Look out.
I would put to y'all, the most urgent thing needed, at least from the council standpoint, in that parking lot is space to park.
Absolutely. We're going to address that. So you've seen several things come before.
By
us
address
in the
it,
last
you
few
mean
weeks.
make them bigger?
We've got a plan.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So we've got,
Come close to that column anytime.
well, you've seen several things
Come
come before
too
you
close.
that are dealing with this. It's just trying to get everything lined up in time correctly.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 5 is approved, thank you, Eric. Item number 6 is approval to enter into a minor public works contract with Tusco for City Hall basement gate operator installation. The total is $36,959.18. Tim, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
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 While we're on the subject of parking spaces, we would like to install a new gate operator for the lower level secure garage. That's what this project is for. It is funded by facility renewal.
Questions?
Timeline, sir.
Once they get started, they anticipate 4 to 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 6 is approved, thanks, Tim. Item number 7 is approval to enter into a minor public works contract with J&L Tree Service, tree removal services, total not to exceed $50,000 per year for the 3-year term. Craig, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
Like it says, we're just wanting to kind of alleviate a little bit of what it takes to come up here and do a tree-by-tree contract service. You know, we've really cut down on what we're bringing to y'all from the previous year, and I see that continuing to go that route. But we would still like to have a contract just in case we get into something that we don't want to deal with the liability of.
We will still see the trees, correct?
No, sir, not with this.
If you're gonna cut
contract.
something down in my district, do I know about it?
No, sir. And we currently do that with our crews as we speak. That's the way we haven't always brought it.
What's the status of our crews? I thought I thought we were in the process of reestablishing
The tree service.
that capability in-house.
We are, and it's, we've hired 2 guys out of the 4-man crew. If you'll remember, we brought it in front of committee to raise the pay to try and we've had that job on the board since November without being able to fill 2 of the positions. We've just raised the pay, and we're hoping that when this comes off the board in a couple of weeks, that, we'll have some better qualified applicants to put in for it. We're also still waiting on some, equipment that was ordered out of the 22 budget, a grapple truck that should be here next month. That'll help us pick up a little bit more, but I mean, these guys have cut it down from about 144,000, 145,000 in 22 down to about 47,000 this year on what we've paid for out of trees.
What we've paid for out of house.
Paid for out of our outside services. Now, these guys are doing a lot of work that you're not seeing. Calton Park, we had to take down a bunch of trees before that project to redo the park so that we didn't have to pay the contractor to come and remove those trees. I mean, we've probably had a 45% increase this year on calls for down trees or trees that need to come down, limbs, things of that nature. And the guys that's what they're mainly handling, are those calls.
So the trees that I see, those are just the ones that need outside when I say I see. The trees that I see in here that are to be cut down, that's just the ones y'all need funding approval from outside entity
services,
to
yes, sir.
pay. If
We still take down more trees on our own that we're not bringing in front of council, yes, sir.
Craig, can I ask a quick question? What determines whether we do it in-house or you do it outside? Is it all liability driven, or is it?
The last tree I can remember that we brought, it was it had dead wood in it. We were worried that you may have to use a crane to pull it down piece by piece. It was leaning towards a house. We didn't want to have to deal with potentially dropping it on a house. And we don't have a boom truck that we can utilize to pull it down piece by piece. So we had to
And so
contract that out.
part of it is equipment based, right? That you're waiting on some equipment that's kept you from
Yes.
doing more in-house.
That's
too,
right.
but-
Some of the large, we've been lucky having to use Public Works and ESD to help us take trees away from location because we don't have that grapple truck to be able to do that in CFG right now. And like I said, that truck will be here hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks.
Any other questions from the council?
Yeah.
go ahead.
So will this be a case by case as we utilize them
Yes,
up to
sir.
that $50,000?
As far
Not to
as-
exceed that 50,000 per year.
We look at each tree on a case by case now as to whether our guys can take it down.
Yes, sir.
Whether it needs to go to Alabama Power Company
Okay.
for them to handle it, or if we need to utilize outside services such as this.
And so do you foresee by the time this 3-year term is up that we will have all of the equipment that we need and hopefully the positions that we feel so that we can execute our own tree services?
I don't foresee, we may bring this amount down in years to come, but I don't foresee us not having some type of
Contract.
open
Yeah.
contract with the contractor
Okay.
for emergency situations, something that is potentially larger than our guys can handle, or like I said, liability issues where we don't wanna, potentially drop a tree on a
Understand.
house or, something of that nature.
I understand that.
I have one other question, and it's probably not for you, Craig, and I'm not sure, Mayor or Eric. As we as the taking down of these huge oak trees that are the reason Tuscaloosa is the Druid City, and it's happening more and more frequently because they're at that point where they're tearing up sidewalks, roads, sewer lines, etc. Okay. Do we have anyone in the city who is tasked with restoring the aesthetic, if not necessarily with giant oak trees that somebody else is going to have to cut down in the future, but as those are a part of the natural beauty and appeal of the downtown area, we're taking them down. What are we doing to replace that effect?
So as part of the planning department, that's one of their duties is the landscape ordinance that was implemented 15 years ago roughly. trees are required in certain situations. They've gone back and looked at certain things over the years as far as student housing goes in some of the more historic neighborhoods and around some of the campus area, how we can replace some of those trees. Also, we have an urban forest master plan that we did 10 to 12 years ago as part of funding through the Forestry Association. So there is a plan in place, and through the landscape ordinance, a lot of these trees get replaced, but it just takes time through development, and it's a public-private partnership at that point.
I would, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to request that at some point when there's space on the agenda, we get an update briefing on what that plan's taking care of.
We'll just, would Eric be the one to do it? Eric?
No, I think it'll be.
So I wrote the landscape ordinance, and then I was also the one who dealt with the Forestry Commission to get the grant years ago. So I'm more than happy.
I thought you
Yeah,
knew a
just-
lot about that,
yeah,
to
just-
having just gone into, but you were just,
Well,
so who's the right
schedule that.
person to brief it?
Just,
I can work with planning on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
just soon, whenever you can do that, please. That'd be
All right,
great.
absolutely.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 7 is approved. Is there any other business to be brought before our committee today? Our next projects committee meeting will be next Tuesday, November the 7th. If there are no other issues to be brought before this committee, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.